I see a record button
Okay.
on the screen.
Yeah, you can start.
Good afternoon. This is the February 18th, 2021 meeting of the Delaware County Interactive Gaming Revenue Authority. I'm calling the meeting to order. Mr. Secretary, can you take a roll call?
Yes, so Paul is here. Stefan, you're here? Stefan?
Yeah, I'm here.
Uh,
Can you see me? Here I
He
am.
waved. He waved.
Okay, I saw Francis, I saw Doreen, saw Frank and John. So I guess that's everybody.
Okay, good. So I'll just provide the rest of the agenda. We'll have a motion to approve the minutes. Then we'll have a public remarks to public concerning agenda. And John, one of the Johns is going to provide some comments about public agenda. I forgot which one it was. I'm sorry.
I'll take care of that.
Okay, thank you. No, so we'll have you read the comments now, if you don't mind.
John, your microphone.
I
is
thought you
muted.
were going to do the approval of the minutes first. Sorry.
No, I'm reading the items, and you can.
Okay.
Do the,
Okay.
the remarks.
There are no public comments have been received so far. Public comments can be submitted with, you need to include your name and address and send them to public comment, all one word, at co.delaware.pa.us. If you do not have access to email, you can call in your public comment to 610-891-4931. Again, you need to give your full name and address.
All right, thank you. Then we'll have the treasurer's report. We'll go through old business, new business, public discussion, and adjournment. Any other items for the agenda from anyone on the authority? Okay, can we have a motion to approve the minutes of January 21st, 2021, the SIGRA meeting?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Okay, all those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? Okay, thank you. Minutes are approved. We'll move on to the treasurer's report.
Oh, this is the most exciting.
We're messing up. Is it Stefan or Stefan?
Stefan, you got it. You got it.
Okay, all right.
To anything, practically, except for Steve.
All right.
This has got to be the most exciting part of the meeting, the treasurer's report. We've had some challenges in setting up the bank account. So what I did is I should probably put this in some type of prose and send it out to everyone. But I did a little timeline of what's going on with our account and where we stand right now. And I'm going to need someone to make a decision, or all of us to make a decision, because we have something coming up pretty soon, which we'll probably have to react to. But way back on December 3rd, we opened up our account, we deposited $10. And then we had that whole issue with not knowing where our checks were, only to find out that checks weren't ordered. So I went to the bank and deposited another $10 in order to cover the cost of checks that were apparently never ordered. That was January 26th. On January 29th, our account was hit with a maintenance fee, something that I just didn't even think to consider, for $15. So we have put in $20. We got hit with a fee for $15 before the check order even went in. The checks were $19.50. The whole thought was we at least will have 50 cents in the account with our $20 deposit, not knowing the maintenance fee would hit first. So we instantly went right into arrears of $14.50. Of course, that doesn't look good for an authority. But not knowing this, on February 8th, just 2 days after, well, on February 8th, the checks arrived at the branch. I picked them up. On that same day, because our account was in arrears for 3 days, I guess, they hit us with an overdraft fee of $35.
Oh, my gosh.
So now our account is in arrears $49.50. And again, not keeping an eagle eye on the account every day, not knowing any of this is going on. I just was very happy that we had checks in our hand, of which I delivered to Frank on February 10th, only to have him find out that when we set up the account originally, we abbreviated some things, because when they were creating the account in their system, Delaware County Interactive Gaming Revenue Authority and all its 40 letters didn't fit in the field where you create the name of the organization. So we took some liberties to abbreviate. Well, that doesn't match up well with what the state wants. It should have been its full name. And the checks have the abbreviated name, which was Delco Interactive Gaming Authority. So we didn't spell out Delaware County, and we dropped the word revenue. So that was our abbreviated name when we opened the account. So that's not going to fly. It took a lot of doing to find out if we could even get our full name put on the account. It took a lot of doing, 3 branches and a couple phone calls, but we finally got that done on February 19th.
No, that's tomorrow.
Okay,
No,
for the
that's
19th.
the wrong date. February 15th. Sorry about that. February 15th. February 19th, of course, is today, because I have some notes from today. I just wanted to peek into the account, see where we were. None of the passwords worked. None of the username worked. So I had to get back on the phone with those guys. So we got the password, and we got the online access, and there's a mobile app that can get me into the account. A couple of things I discovered, though, is that when I looked at our account on the mobile app, it still has the our old name for as much as it will view. And when I talked to the person on the phone with TD Bank, they have our new name for as much as she can view. So she only could view so many characters, but because now it starts with Delaware County, we know the name has been changed. The rep that put all this paperwork in was off today, so I couldn't call him directly. I'm going to follow up tomorrow. So a couple things needs to happen. They did it because they put in our name change as required by all of us, meaning us and the state, to do business. I will say the rep in the branch that did make the change was a little disappointed that it wasn't done the first time when we created the account, because we brought in letters of incorporation and state, EIN number. They said it should have absolutely been the full name, but that's something that they can't do right at the desk. It has to be escalated, and it takes a day to get that through. So he's forgiven the cost of our new checks, which would have been another $19.50. They're ordering new checks for us. It'll probably take another 10 days for those to arrive. Frank, if we still need that letter that we had originally that the account was created, with the account number, that's available to us if we need that.
Yeah, I think we do need a new letter, because the old letter has the abbreviated name.
Right. Okay. So that letter is done. It's just a matter of picking that up.
Stefan, did he waive the overdraft fee did he waive the overdraft fee?
I didn't know of the overdraft fee at the time that I got this name change. So that's why I was hoping to talk to him today. I've got to go pick up that letter. So when I do, I think it might be a little easier to do it face to face than now. But he was I didn't even have to ask for the checks. He did it as a courtesy. It was his recommendation, not my suggestion. So I'm hoping
It's his job.
It's his job. So we're hoping he'll waive the overdraft fees as well. So what we have coming up is February 26th. Chances are we won't get the checks in time. We won't have the money transferred in the account. There's going to be another $15 maintenance fee, I imagine on the last Friday of the month. That will put us in arrears to the tune of $64.50. When I go to the bank tomorrow, I can certainly put in enough money to cover, us, so that we don't, see another, whatever it's called, overdraft fee. Or I can talk to the guy and see how we can not be hit with a,
That's
well,
what I would suggest.
yeah. So we'll see. I'll kind of update you tomorrow. I wish he was there today so I could bring all that information to us today, but he wasn't. But that's where we stand. Frank, is there anything else we need to do other than get this? Well, we got the name changed. We got to get these checks.
All right, I need the blank check again.
Yeah. Okay.
We actually had I had an email that said we were approved after quite a lot of effort. And then I immediately got another email that says, oh, wait, your name isn't right. So here we go again. They first questioned, when I checked the box government other, they questioned, well, what are you? Are you a 501c3? The question you always seem to get. And I sent them a copy of our articles of incorporation, a copy of the ordinance that created us, and also cited the section of the Pennsylvania Code that provides for municipal authorities being a quasi-governmental agency. So they finally accepted that, and then we came up with the name problem. It's like the Keystone Cops.
This name thing, you guys wouldn't believe how much, I've been to 3 different branches. I've talked to probably 4 different people on the phone. You almost want to give the advice of keep your name short because this is really, it seems like it's something that very few of these bank people, at least on the front line, know anything about and can handle. And it really took, making a call, on that 1-888 number for someone to finally say, I've seen longer names. You have to get with the manager. They have to escalate the process. But even people in the branch weren't even making that recommendation. I came really close to closing out the account and running somewhere else because I didn't know there was any recourse. But the Chadds Ford branch was very good, very, very helpful. So thanks to them.
We might have the longest name of all the other authorities in the county. So I don't know if that's something that, it's probably be too much red. And I've said in the emails, I think it's just a lot of red tape, but it'd probably be even more red tape to go back to council and have them change the name. But
You got that right.
I guess we'll press on and
Well, we got a great acronym. DeSigra, I still love that.
yeah. Makes it simple. Okay, and I don't know if you or Frank have the balance of what we're supposed to receive that's been collected by the state or by the county. I don't know if we want to
An update on our latest quarter. I don't know what the total is though.
So 78,000 is our total right now.
Okay, thank you.
That includes the 36 that you said, or 32 that just came in?
Yes, it does.
So
Well, Stefan, thank you for your persistence.
Yeah, definitely.
yeah, it was almost fun. So Frank, these are quarterly quarterly lumps of money. How many total quarters, and which
Right.
quarter does this one represent, this last one that came in?
The last one that came in is the fourth quarter of 2020. We had previously, the county had previously received the second quarter because there was no first quarter payment,
Yeah,
and
that's
the third quarter.
okay.
So the next one will be the first quarter of 2021. And that will not be till April.
If we were to be project, I think we projected that we're going to receive about $100,000 a year. But this fourth quarter, maybe because of Super Bowl, was a lot higher than the first 2 quarters. So we haven't had a full year to see how all four quarters, how it comes in. And because it's new, chances are it's going to grow anyway. But if it's only coming from Harris, maybe it won't grow because the new live casino is open in South Philadelphia, and that's going to draw a lot of attention from at least, walk-in traffic to Harris. But all this is interactive. So I guess a lot of it has to do with how Harrah's is promoting their interactive gaming and how many people are locked into it.
I think we'll just have to accept what we have is what we have.
Yeah, there's some, it's going to be hard to predict how much is going to come in, but you're right, just deal with what we have.
So there's a $15 fee on the checking account each month.
Yes.
Is that waived if you have like a minimum balance or anything like that? Average balance? Just something, you don't
Yeah,
have to know now. It's something for us to think about, not write checks to the last penny if that's the case.
Good question.
Especially since the county, this is the bank's preferred bank of the county, and we just kind of aligned with them when we chose this bank.
As we go throughout the meeting, I have the forms here. I'll see if I can eyeball it. And, let's see.
I would just, we use TD at the foundation and our experience has been very, very good, but it does make a difference to have a relationship with the branch manager, whoever that is, whether it's media or
Transform.
Chester. Those are the three I've been
or
to.
Chester,
But-
whichever. Mhm.
Yeah, I've got your answer, Ron. If we have a minimum balance of $2,500, we can avoid the monthly maintenance fee. So that's
And-
the minimum we want to keep in the bank if we don't want to be hit with a fee. $2,500.
That's easy.
One matter, if I can jump in.
Sure.
I have been very diligent in making requests of the county and the treasurer to please transfer the money from their account to ours. We're making progress, but they've had some turnover in their personnel. So I'm told it can happen any day now. They also have to get the approval of the controller. So hopefully within the next week or so, our money will be there and the $15 maintenance fee will go away.
And the other paperwork concerning the name change that we're working with the state, that would have the funds come directly from the state into our account instead of going through the county, correct?
That is absolutely correct.
Okay.
I filed the proper form for what they call the PPEP program and got accepted by them. And then they sent me a letter that said, wait, you didn't register your federal ID number. So we duly did that, except our name would not fit in there. Kept kicking us back. And then finally, my wife was helping me. She's the brains of the outfit. She just put in everything you could properly and then cut it off, where
Right.
it wouldn't take anymore.
Mhm.
And that went through.
Okay.
So again, we got approval and then another email saying, wait, your checks don't have the same name. So if we can get the checks with the same name, I think we're almost ready to go.
Okay. Any other questions or comments for Stefan? Okay, thank you. All right, let's talk about old business. At our last meeting, we discussed economic development priorities, and we kind of looked at these three main areas, and I just wanted to see if anyone's thought of any new areas or have any additional comments on these three main areas of food insecurity, vaccine education, and homelessness / affordable housing. If we kind of agree, we did agree that those would be our priorities for the 2021. Are there any comments or any additional priorities that you want to discuss, the authority?
I think we were going to look, Michiko Warren on our team at the foundation was going to be looking through the proposals we had received for our impact grants to see if there were any economic or community development grants that had been submitted that might interest us.
Okay.
We received over 80 proposals, so she is slowly but surely wending her way through those, and I'll have her pull together a report that with some proposals that might interest the group, just so we have a sense of what some other alternatives are. The one thing I would just mention about housing is that the county has a significant amount of CARES dollars that are about to come through for rental assistance to prevent evictions. So those, I think it's going to be a challenge enough for them to move those dollars out the door. For us to put additional funding in there directly wouldn't make sense. But I'm also wondering if, I'm hoping they'll use some of that money to support the nonprofits that get the word out about the availability of the rental assistance.
Okay.
But that, you know, if they needed additional help for that, maybe that would be an avenue. But they're going to have a lot of money for rental assistance. A lot.
Good to know.
Okay, thank you. And I saw your foundation has a partnership with Chester Housing Authority. I got an email.
We
yesterday.
do. We have
Yeah.
a really, yeah, and we just found out we're getting a grant from TD Foundation, a $75,000 one-time grant to beef up that program, which, you know, the idea being that even as the county is providing the rental assistance, sometimes, you know, there's such a variety of different case management issues that low income, particularly women, single moms, you know, and you want to create safe and stable housing for the family. So we're also doing a lot of thinking about whether or not there's some broader work we could do in partnership with the county to strengthen the system. Because once the CARES money goes out, the problem doesn't go away.
That's great, yeah. Okay, thank you.
Sure.
All right, any other discussion on this topic?
Yeah, I'm just kind of curious how important, or maybe this vaccine education, that was a huge issue like last month.
Right.
Now the issue is just getting,
Everybody's rushing to get it.
I don't know if that is as big a priority this month as it was that last month.
I still think it is, and I'll tell you why. I mean, I'm not saying we should prioritize it, but when we talk to some of the groups, particularly communities of color where the most hesitation is, if we're not talking with people about this and dispelling the myths, when the vaccine really is available, we're going to be behind the times. We just took about $50,000 from our response fund, the COVID-19 response fund, to give to the Delaware County Immigrant Coalition, which is a group of organizations, the Multicultural Family Services, Centro de Apoyo, there's a Ethiopian group, Sikh advocacy group. It's 10 immigrant serving organizations in the Upper Darby area. And they did amazing work when they came together for the census. And we really want to keep building their collaborative muscle. So they were just awarded this grant to do vaccine hesitancy outreach and education, which I think is great because they really are trusted messengers in those communities. We're not getting as many, you know, we're trying to talk to some organizations that are led by Black-led organizations, particularly in the Chester area. We'll see if anybody bites and is interested in those, applying for those funds. There's a lot of hesitation out there. There's a lot of hesitation. And I think it'll shift a little bit because as time goes on, as more and more people are vaccinated and nothing happens to them, right?
Mm-hmm.
And those people have a sense of security and more freedom, and the numbers start to go down. Hopefully, some of the hesitation for some people will go away. But I think it really has to be met head on by trusted messengers. I don't know what your perceptions are in the communities that you're operating in.
Oh, that's good. That's a good perspective. I was also thinking about Affordable Care Act. You know, Obamacare enrollment is starting or has started soon.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just curious. I don't know how long that enrollment period is, and pretty much to very much all the same points that you just spoke of, Francis. If we can get some local, you know, bullhorns, you know, to people who need this the most, that, you know, this is how you apply. Here's your time frame for applying. I just don't know what groups would be the ones that would, you know, be the ones to give that message out. And if that enrollment period is too short of a runway for us to do something this time around. But, it looks like with the Trump administration not doing any promotion of Affordable Care Act, and now Biden seems to want to ramp that back up again. I don't know how effective, he's going to be, or as the federal government's going to be, but I'm sure with some local people, joining in, at least our communities could be, well aware.
I think
Francis-
it's a 3-month,
sorry.
isn't it a 3-month runway? I think it is.
That's what I'm
Yeah,
not
I
sure.
think it is. But I was wondering, is there a current Delaware County needs assessment that we could perhaps use as a backup? Because a lot of the things that we talked about, like the vaccine education, the CARES Act money that we're going to be getting, those are, I won't call them temporary problems, but they're hot items right now.
Mhm.
And as an authority, I think we also need to be thinking about the future. And if we're going to, think about some future planning and making some inroads on that. And I was wondering if there are other issues that the county has recognized other than the ones that we talked about that maybe we should review and think about.
So there was a needs assessment that was done by Crozier in 2016.
Yeah, that's why I said, is there a current?
And I have a
one?
copy of that.
Okay.
Hopkins, the county paid Hopkins to do a healthcare needs assessment, which is actually on our website. Happy to point you all towards that. My understanding, and none of this, I mean, you know what the needs are. Every single one of you on this call knows what the needs are. It's housing, it's food insecurity, it's access to good health care. I mean, actually, if you looked at the Crozier one from 4 years ago, I bet you $1,000 if it were to be done again today, it would be exactly the same.
Yeah, and
Wow.
we curtailed that list down. So I think we
Thought about that.
indicated
Okay.
all those, but we curtailed it down just for the focus of 2021. So I think we've identified those. I understand what you're saying, Doreen, because we have identified those and we should be forward thinking, but I think we were just looking at the ones where, depending on the grant cycles, what we can impact immediately.
Okay,
When-
and that makes complete sense, but I'm
Yeah.
like, but we also, I like to also think about the future sometimes. And
Yeah.
when we have
Well,
money, we don't do that, so.
So future thinking, I do think when it comes to food insecurity, we talked on the last call about the fact that the county is now awarding a grant, a contract to share the Share Food program in Philly. I had a phone call with 4 of their top people yesterday or the day before. The days are blending. And we're organizing a call for funders on either the morning of April 9th or 16th, which all of you are invited to. And they are going to lay out what their plans are for Delaware County to give other foundations an opportunity here, what their plans and needs are going to be. I think that is going to be a great opportunity for us. I really do, because it's not just about share, but it's the whole network of food providers around them, pantries, youth serving organizations, immigrant organizations, all these different nonprofits that have stepped up in the food space since the pandemic hit. And that's going to really position us to have a much stronger emergency food system for the long haul. So that's about the future. And the other thing about the future, and I really don't know enough about this to talk about it at length, but I sense there's more that we can do long-term around housing. And the biggest issue for to address homelessness is addressing evictions. If you can keep people in safe and stable housing, it is just from the first point at which a family enters the eviction system, it's so destabilizes the family. And other counties have done some, like Allegheny County, have done really interesting work partnering their counties with their nonprofit organizations and their court systems to try and mitigate the problem. So great, we have all this CARES money coming in this year, but we'd also like to step back at the foundation and take a look at how can we be helpful in working with the county to address this issue more systemically. So maybe there'll be, I can't say more than that because there isn't more to say at this point. I'm just not an expert about how this county operates right now. But maybe there'll be an opportunity for us to impact that down the road. Immediately, I mean, if we wanted to do ACA outreach, the best organization that really coordinates this is called the Pennsylvania Health Access Network, FAN. It's run by a woman named Antoinette Krause. She is the long-term ACA enrollment queen in Pennsylvania. And obviously, you know, it's a lot of grassroots organizations like Chess Pen and our Healthy Start program, et cetera, et cetera. But, you know, I could ask Antoinette what's going on in that space, or any of you could call her and have a conversation. Maybe there's an opportunity to fund her to do some outreach specifically here in Delaware County. So that's one thought. And the other thought around doing something immediately, and I really don't want this to sound self-serving because it's really not, but the county is establishing a public health department, and we have got to educate the community about what the value and role of the health department is. So I chair the committee of the steering committee that's setting up the public health department. That is we're going to be contracting with a marketing firm. We're going to be developing messaging around this whole public health department establishment. And the foundation's the county asked us to set up the fund so the money for these projects wouldn't get commingled with government money. And so we agreed, okay, we'll house the fund. We're putting a chunk of money in it, and then we're going to go out and raise other dollars. The Interactive Gaming Authority could be one of the initial funders of that fund, if you thought that helping the county get their public health department started would be of value. I mean, we're also asking Keystone First to contribute, Crozier, IBC, you know, a few players that were asking for anywhere from $5,000 to $10,000 to step up, $5,000 to $20,000, I should say.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Good stuff.
Those are all good, valid concerns that all of you addressed. All right, so we have a lot on our plate. Let's move on to the grant application subcommittee report. I did reach out to Doreen and Francis, and you know, we're still trying to feel our way, but let's hear some suggestions that they may have. We talked about the foundation does a great job. I got an email that talked about like one of their grant making calendars, and it was very visually displayed very well as far as when it was available, when to apply, when it would be awarded, that type of thing. So I asked Doreen and Francis to look through their experience and kind of come up with a potential timeline or timeline. So, you know, would we have one cycle this year, or could we potentially do 2 cycles this year? If we get, when and if we get the money, that's the main thing right now.
Right.
So the floor is yours for talking about a potential grant making calendar or calendars.
If I remember correctly, we said we wanted to wait until we actually, help me out, Francis here. There was a suggestion, I think, that we wanted to wait before we actually have a calendar, because we wanted to look at her process at the, and bring it back to this group and see if there was a recommendation on, because there is a cost associated with this. And we wanted to bring it back to the entire group and see if we wanted to look at that process and at that cost, if that was amenable to the folks here on the committee.
Okay, maybe I'm jumping ahead because I do have proposal for a grant management tool system second, and I don't know if we have that available yet. So I do apologize.
No,
that's
that's okay. So I would actually suggest that we keep it really simple this first year, that you not even engage the foundation in this process.
Okay.
I would recommend instead that we decide on 1, 2, 3 grants that we want to make this year, and just move the money out the door. I mean, I can provide a sample grant agreement and a grant award letter. It doesn't even have to be in a system per se, right? I mean, Stefan, you can write a check. It can be part of the record keeping that John and Frank are keeping for us.
Yeah, we can make an announcement. Yeah, I totally agree with that as far as making it simple, because A, we don't have a lot of time. B, we want to move the money fast. We don't want a whole process where we all have to go in and check this and check that. We can really talk about it really publicly here, award whoever we're going to award to, and then get it done. That's, I agree, Francis.
Oh, and before we decide on what those 1, 2, or 3 grants are going to be, we could have Michiko come to our next meeting and just share some of the grant proposals that we've received as part of our impact grants, just so you can make sure there aren't any in there that interest you.
That makes sense. Or even before the meeting, maybe she can send us some kind of a document that we can review prior to the meeting. And so then when we come, we can have some questions, air out some questions for her, to use her time wisely and our time wisely, because we have an hour. And if she got 80 applications, that could be a bit of a meeting. But I'm sure she would narrow it down. I completely understand that. But still, we want to make sure that we're doing the right thing and really vetting these organizations as carefully as possible.
Yeah. And you want to see economic and community development. You want to see food system.
And I guess the vaccine education we talked about, correct? Or
those are in the response fund side. And to be honest with you, we have enough money in the response fund to pay.
Okay, then I'm fine. Yep. Okay.
So would you go ahead?
No, I just wanted to be clear here. What Michiko is going to bring to us, you said impact grants. I'm not sure what they are, but apparently you have too many to award. Is that the case?
So we have about $1 million to award as part of our annual impact grants. That we call them our impact grants. They're our annual competitive grant cycle. We have over $5 million in requests.
Okay.
We're going to be saying no to a lot of really good proposals.
So we're going to see the no's then, right?
Well, no, we may show you, we'll show them all to you. And you may say you want to do a piece of this or you want to do all of that. Or, I mean, if you take one off our plate, we just want to see these organizations get supported.
Okay, I got you.
So I guess my question is, would we still do a RFQ for grants for this year?
I don't know that you may not.
I don't know if it's necessary. I don't know. I think we should need to see what we have and then decide if we need to do that or not. If for some reason one of these grants does not meet an area that we think that's a need, then maybe we would want to go after a certain, community or agency or whatever. But I think if we have that many, we should be able to, for as much money as we have, not saying that it's nothing to sneeze at, but it's going to it's not going to, change the need that much or that much. So I would say let's see what we have and then work from there.
Yeah, my only question is, I know we have a charter, and I don't know if Frank could speak to this, but I know we also have some autonomy separate from council. Would we have to do an RFQ, or can we set up our own standards as far as how we solicit and distribute funding, Frank?
You're on mute, Frank.
You're on mute.
He needs a signer back there.
Sorry about that.
That's
I was
okay.
talking too. I do think that even if it's just a press release, that as an organization, we have to let the world know that we're here and that these are the types of things that we could be funding. I'm just talking in terms of process. I think it's wonderful what Francis is saying in terms of the packages that are already there, but I do think that while we may not spend the money to advertise in the legal section, at least a press release. Furthermore, Paul, what I think you were alluding to is that while we are ultimately going to be the one that awards the grant, the county very much wants to be involved in our decision-making process. Christine was pretty clear about that.
So what exactly does that mean?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, what
I'm
is?
glad you asked that question. Thank
Well,
you, Francis.
Here's
I
John.
think-
Is it
John's
a
light
is it
suddenly
an
went up.
acknowledgement, or they want to be involved in the decision making? To me, that's two different things.
Yeah,
I think they want to have input in decision-making in respect to that. We'll do our work. We'll come up with our list of who we think it is that ought to go to. But there is a clause in our charter that says that we have to run it by them.
They have that final
Okay.
approval. Okay, that makes sense. All right.
But we don't have to come with it to them with 10 choices from which they're going to pick 5.
That's correct.
Now, the other thing you could consider, and again, this would be something to talk to, I guess, Christine. Christine is your conduit to council?
Yes.
Whether or not they would consider approving a program without approving the specific recipients. I mean, you can work with them, but there does have to be some form of council approval. And you could work with council as to what they're comfortable delegating and what they want. You know, that I have no idea. I know there was the desire to have some control. I don't know currently what extent council wants, to approve everything or to give a certain amount of latitude. So that would be something to discuss.
Yeah, I think based on everything that we've discussed so far, I think they'd be extremely comfortable with where we're heading. We're not doing anything inappropriate or that isn't addressing something really important, Paul. Yeah.
I understood.
One of the things I wonder though, if I'm applying to the foundation for an impact grant, and then the check is written by the Interactive Gaming Authority, there probably needs to be something in the middle there to let the person who's seeking that grant know that,
Yes.
you've applied through us, but you're being
Yes.
approved by them.
We keep in Michico is in regular contact with all our grantees, and there would be a conversation first. Yeah.
And this is not something unusual that grantors do, because a lot of grantors sometimes will look at grants and say, it doesn't quite fit here. We're gonna submit your ask this other grantee to give you money. It's not something that hasn't been done before.
Okay.
We're not getting any kind of new ground here.
You two would know.
But it's a good question, Stefan. Good question.
Yeah, I think it provides some simplicity for us for this year. So I think that's a good suggestion. Ron, any comments?
Yeah, that sounds reasonable to me. I mean, yeah, I thought we had listed a few things last month, but had decided to focus on food insecurity. And seems like we had the SHARE program at the tip of our tongue. Like that was kind of top of mind of like where we might be headed. Is that one of those grants, Francis, that you have?
They actually didn't come in because they're not ready yet. That's why we're having this session in April where they're going to present, because they've only are just being awarded the contract. In fact, I don't even think it's been signed yet. And I think it's at the state level. I'm not sure of the intricacies, but that has to be signed. They're in the process now of reaching out to all the pantries and introducing themselves to the community. And they need to do some planning and figuring out what their budgetary needs are going to be above and beyond the county contract for the next couple of years. And they think they're going to be ready to present in mid-April. And I think we can wait. We're already, it's only 2 months rather away.
Francis and Doreen, is there an ideal time where these nonprofits would benefit from receiving the money based on their fiscal years? Because I know some are calendars and some align more with government.
I don't think so. Personally, I don't think so.
Okay.
I would
As
say
long as they get it.
as soon as possible, right,
Yeah.
Doreen?
Yeah, as long as they get it.
Yesterday's
Yeah,
better.
I don't
than
think
today.
that's an issue.
But could it be, could we fund maybe one at one part of the year, wait for some revenue to
You could do that.
aggregate
Sure.
and go with
Yeah,
the
you
next one
could
and
do
so on?
that.
Okay, all right.
but fiscal years, to be honest with you, it's paperwork. I mean, it's just what we, because the work keeps going year round. It's, I don't think it really matters.
Okay. All right, any other comments on old business? So at the next meeting, you'll invite Michiko to come to the meeting and discuss kind of generally the impact grants that requests that she's received.
And when is that next meeting? Refresh my memory, please.
I don't, let me see if I can get
Third
in
Thursday in March.
Third
March
Thursday in
18th.
March.
18th, same as February.
Got it.
Right.
So, and I can see Michiko's calendar.
How do you spell Michigo?
M as in mother, ISCHICO.
And she's a coworker of yours at the
She's
foundation.
the director of our grant making services, yes. I think Doreen and Stefan, do you know Michiko?
Yes.
Yeah, we're really lucky she's in the role she is.
New business, we have discussed grant criteria for evaluation and selection, but I don't think we need that at this point, do we?
No,
Anyone?
we're fine.
All right, and I think it kind of is redundant based on the priorities discussion that we had and also some previous discussions that we had as well. At this point, we'll open it up for public discussion.
John, you're on mute.
Or should I say, are there any other items of new business before we open it up?
I saw
to
his lips
public
moving.
discussion?
John, your mic's on mute.
There are no further, I was just checking, there are no further comments.
Okay, and I do apologize. Are there any other items for new business at this time from the authority? Okay, I move for adjournment.
I move that we adjourn.
I think we are adjourned. Anybody opposed, abstained from adjourning?
Hey, Francis, did you get a new job? Did I see something that you're heading something else?
No, I'm on the board of the Riverfront Alliance.
Oh, you're new to the board. I thought you were
Yes.
already on the board. Okay.
No.
And she's on the steering committee for the health department. I saw that in the news.
Yes.
Do you know what's
I
going on?
don't know how you do it.
I
really don't.
know.
Yeah, Francis.
Right here from my pantry.
Hey, Francis, do you know about this, the Keystone First Wellness Center down in Chester and some work that supposed to do with?
Well, I know that it's planned. I know it's planned.
Meeting
I
is
was gonna-
adjourned. Can we stop
Yes.
recording? Can we turn recording off?
Oh, yeah. There we go. Ah,
All
there it is.
right, yes.
Thank you.
So I know
Good
it's
catch,
we're
Paul.
supposed to have a ribbon cutting next Thursday, but it's been indefinitely postponed because of the vaccine sort of, supply. They want to get a handle on that before they open it. I don't know anything more than that, other than it's